It Goes Unspoken by Chelsea Perry. My chosen short film was It Goes Unspoken. It was a short film about women in the Appalachian communities in eastern Kentucky. It interviewed different women about their jobs and roles within the community. Some were stay-at-home mothers, one was a DJ on the radio, one was a manager at the local farmers market, and one dealt with robotics. Each woman had a good sense of community. The short film also talked about how the communities are built on the backbones of women and how much of the things they do go unnoticed. Differences. The first difference I noticed between the two films, one being Winter's Bone and then one being the short film, was that the short film was mostly filmed in close-up shots. The short film was also a documentary, whereas Winter's Bone was not. The depth of field was also different in the sense that you could see everything in the background of the short film, but in the movie, there were scenes that the background was out of focus so that you could just focus on the characters and the plot. Similarities between the two. The first thing I noticed when watching the short film was that both use handheld techniques. Handheld was the main camera angle that was used in the short film. However, there were also some scenes in Winter's Bone that were also shot using the handheld technique. Both the short film and Winter's Bone also used the close-up shots. Although other types of shots were used in Winter's Bone, close-up shots were used in some scenes as well. I like using close-up shots because you are better able to read the emotion of the people on screen. The last similarity that I noticed was the use of extras. In both films, there were people who had no dialogue in the crowd scenes. My opinions. I did find the documentary interesting. It was honest about how the women in Appalachia tend to feel. I found myself being able to relate with the women in the short film. I do believe it was successful in getting the point across. It was a very relatable short film. It worked for me in a sense that I got to connect with the people in the short film. As being an Appalachian woman, being born and raised in Northeast Tennessee, it was very simple and easy to understand what they were talking about. I learned that I am not the only Appalachian woman who feels the way I do. Women do so much that goes unnoticed. This short film project put into perspective on how much work really goes into an Appalachian community. Changes. If I had to change one thing about this short film, it would be the background noise. With each person they filmed, there was background noise, and I often found myself thinking about what in the background could have made that noise. It was distracting, but could have been avoided if the director or cinematographer had cut out background noise. And finally, Appalachian people. In both the short film and Winter's Bone, both Appalachian communities have a deep connection to family. In Winter's Bone, no one would give up the location of Ree's father. They had a sense of community whether what they were doing was wrong. They didn't turn their backs on each other. It was the same way in the short film. The women that were interviewed had a deep sense of community. So in both films, the community of Appalachians shows that they would never turn their backs on family because they are a tight-knit community.